Hey guys, what's up? It's Millions of Millibooks here with my January wrap-up. So January went by really fast. This month I have completed 6 books so far, but a little disclaimer I'd have to say is I'm going to be away the last few days of the month, so I may complete another book. Without further ado, let's get into the wrap-up. The first book I read in 2015 is The Day Before by Lisa Schroeder. This is a novel written in verse about a girl who is kind of going through a traumatic experience. She finds out something about herself. The day before she has to come to terms with this thing, she decides to just take off and go to the beach for a day. And she meets this guy at the beach. When she starts talking to him, they realize they have more in common than they would think, so they end up spending the day together. This was a really beautiful book. I gave this 5 out of 5 stars. It was a very nice read for my first verse book. I was very interested in the genre, and I hadn't read anything in verse. This was super quick. I loved it. I think the writing style made the story, which was actually quite simple, into this very heartwarming and moving tale, and I really enjoyed this. So if you are interested in any type of verse book, or you like Ellen Hopkins books, I highly suggest picking that up. I have not read any of Ellen Hopkins books, but this was a great book to start if you want to get into reading verse. So the next book I completed in the month of January is The Book of Ivy by Amy Engel. This is a dystopian novel about a society where there are arranged marriages, and our main character Ivy gets matched off to the president's son, and she is on a mission to kill the president's son Bishop. And when she meets Bishop, she of course realizes that the job is going to be more difficult than she had thought. This was so good. I cannot express how much I loved this book. It's one of my favorite first books in a series that I have ever read. It was so intriguing. I just love this world. I thought the characters were very unique and I really liked them. I loved hearing their stories. I loved this world. I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars, and I have actually done a book chat for it. I've done 2, one of them spoilery and one of them non-spoilery, which will be posted shortly after, soon-ish. If you are interested in this book, I will link the book talks down below once they are up, but look out for them because I rave about this. Something that I really liked about this book is it took on some themes that were very controversial but don't really come up in young adult literature, like for instance sexism and gender roles and what happens in relationships when one of the people in the relationship feels like they can be dominant. This was just so great. So many layers to the story. I can't even. Plus there's a great ship to ship here, so the spine is really cool. Right in the feels. That is probably one of the lamest things I've ever done in my entire life. The next book I picked up in the month of January is Half-Blood by Jennifer L. Armentrout. This is the first book in the Covenant series. There's the rest of them. There's 5 books in the series, and I am beyond excited to dive into the rest of the books. It's hard for me to give a synopsis that really does the books justice without just reading from the back. The best way for me to describe it is if Percy Jackson and Vampire Academy had a baby, kind of. But then it has Jennifer L. Armentrout's special twist to it. I loved these characters once again. This is my first Jennifer L. Armentrout book that isn't from the Lux series. I read the Lux series in 2014 and I loved every single one of those books, so I wanted more of her writing and I got it, and this did not let me down at all. So much fun. The characters were so amusing. I laughed out loud quite a few times reading this. If you like the Lux series and you haven't read any other Jennifer L. Armentrout books, I highly suggest picking this up because it was a lot of fun. I gave it 4.5 stars. Plus the romance in this already, I can just tell. I'm ready to go on a feels roller coaster. So the next book I picked up is Dissidents by Erica O'Rourke. I went to a Veronica Roth and Erica O'Rourke event in Chicago, and I decided that I wanted to pick this up before I got to go see them. Unfortunately, I didn't finish this before the event, but I got this from last September. I got to meet Erica O'Rourke, so it was nice to get to see her again. This is one that's kind of hard to explain too. It's about this girl named Dell, and she is a walker. This world is set up to be that every single time you make a choice, the choice that you don't make creates an echo, so it's kind of like a what-if situation. And Dell is a walker, so that means she can walk through worlds and see worlds that don't exist, but then they're pretty much like what if worlds. Dell keeps running into this one boy from her school, and every single echo that she walks in, echoes are people in the other worlds that aren't in the key world or our main world that we live in now. And of course a little romance brews, so it has a little bit of that. I don't know if that made any sense, but either way, I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. It was very, very unique. As you can tell from my synopsis, it's kind of hard to explain in just a couple sentences. I think once you finally got used to this world and really understood all of the terminology, because there's quite a few music terms in it, and there's quite a few, it's not quite sci-fi, but it's definitely a unique twist to this. It is very intriguing, and I thought this concept was just so creative. Some of the characters annoyed me a little bit, and it took a couple chapters for you to grasp this world, so I was confused in the first 50 pages or so, but once I got used to this, I really enjoyed it. I think my favorite part about this was not only the uniqueness of the book, but Erica O'Rourke's writing was very, I don't know how to describe it, it was very pretty, it was very whimsical. I really enjoyed how the story was told. The second book, I believe, for this comes out in fall of 2015, so Dissidents, I believe it's called, I think. I'll put it down below if it's different. I definitely will continue on in this duology. But the next book I picked up is The Unreleased by Marie Lu. I completed the Legend trilogy in 2014 and I really, really enjoyed it, so I wanted to see what this was about because I've heard a lot of good things. And oh man, I really, 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 really enjoyed this. It was a fantasy. I knew it was a fantasy going in. It was nothing like I expected it to be. I kind of thought it was going to be more like The Darkest Minds in the sense that there's fantastical-ish elements to it, but this was definitely in a higher fantasy world, which I did not see coming. I give this 4.5 stars. This is about a society that was hit by a plague, and many of the people who actually survived this plague became Malfetos, or these people who have some form of physical disfiguration. Some of these Malfetos end up having powers, and the people affected from the plague with powers create the society called the Young Elites, and our lead character is a Malfeto with only one eye and silver hair, which is a really, really cool, interesting character trait. Her name's Adelina. Her experience in finding the society and being a Malfeto and how this affects her. The world was so cool. The way Marie Lu writes her books is very action-packed, so I enjoyed that aspect of it, because even though this was nothing like the Legend trilogy, I could definitely tell it's from the same lady, which I liked. The Rose Society, the second book in this trilogy, I guess it is, comes out fall of 2015. I am beyond excited for that. Something that I really thought was interesting about this book, I'm not going to spoil you, but there was a huge curveball at the end of this that you're just like, but then there's an epilogue that just flips everything upside down again, and the craziness is real. As of like comparing this to the Legend trilogy, I think I liked this better than Legend. It's hard for me to compare the series because it's only one book compared to 3, but as for just first books in the series, I actually like this more than Legend, I think. One book more! The final book I completed in January, as of this video, is Time After Time by Tamara Ireland Stone. This is the concluding novel in the Time Between Us duology, the first book being The Time Between Us. I'm not going to say the synopsis for this because I don't want to spoil book 1, but the general synopsis of The Time Between Us is a girl who lives in 1995 Chicago falls in love with a boy from 2012 San Francisco who can time travel. I really enjoyed the first book. I really liked the romance in the first book. I thought the characters were fun to follow, but for this book, I only thought it was okay. I didn't hate it, and I'm really glad that I did get to continue on in this duology, but I did not like it nearly as much as the first book. The first book is written in Anna, the girl from 1995's perspective, and this is written in Bennett, the boy from 2012's perspective, so the POV change definitely changed the tone and the plot of this second half of the story for sure. I wasn't a huge fan of the direction that it decided to go because we were following a different voice. I gave this 3 stars. It was pretty good. I don't have too much to say about it. I felt like not much happened in this. I wasn't very gripped by this like I was with the first one. So again, 3 stars. Okay, not bad. I don't regret reading it, but I definitely enjoyed book 1 a lot more. So that is it for the books that I completed in January. I am actually going to be out of town for the last couple days of the month. I'm filming this early and hopefully this will be up early. I plan on at least starting another book in January, and I'll give you a hint. It rhymes with Just One Day by Gail Forman. I will hopefully finish this by the end of January, maybe early February, but regardless, I will talk about this in my February wrap-up. So that is it for this video. I completed 6 or possibly 7 books in the month of January. I'm pretty happy with that. It's not my best, considering that I'm pretty sure I read the first 3 books in the first 4 days of the month, and then the rest took me forever. But I really enjoyed all of the books that I read, so give or take. I will link my Goodreads down in the description box, because not only do I like to share what I'm reading, but I really love to see what you guys are reading. So if you have any interest in hearing a little bit more about these books or telling me more about the books that you like, go ahead, friend me. My link is in the doobly-doo. Also, if you've read any of these books, comment down below so we can chat, because I like to talk about books. Alas, BookTube. Thank you so much for watching. This is Millions of Millie Books, and I hope you have a great day, /month, /February, /year, whatever. Thank you for watching. Bye! I'm probably gonna cut all that out because that's awkward. My necklace. I have more things to say. It was very, very good.